reliability to drive thousands of miles, confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition and a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
We've experienced how common insurance falls short, slow quotes, excessive exclusions, and a drawn-out claims process.
We actually use a policy that's built specifically around motorsports racing, so drag racing, circle track, and road course. We're covering the race cars, the trailers, the tools and equipment, the pit vehicles, and your motorhomes. And we cover them while they're in storage, in transit, or at the race facility itself.
Larice Motorsports Insurance, coverage built by racers for racers.
How you doing, Bobby? I want to thank you for joining us today on the Spot Motorsports Media. Everyone, I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter, right along with Robert Simpson. And Mr. Bennett, again, thank you for joining us. And I tell you what, Competition Plus has been one of the lead publications for people to go to for racing information since 1999. And so tonight we kind of want to talk a little bit about your history, what led you into journalism in the motorsports world?
Well, actually, the journalism started when I was 12 years old. And me and my buddy, we'd have, spend the nights, we'd say, hey, let's start a magazine. And we'd do a magazine on anything. We did a magazine on Kiss one time. Well, in 1979, I did my first drag racing magazine, and it just stuck. And I found myself doing one every month, and it was 75 cents. It was written articles on notebook paper with pictures taken from my mom's camera and laid out. Took it to the Speedy printers downtown, printed it, and and I'd take it to Spartanburg Dragway and sell it out. I'd make about 30 of them and sell them for 75 cents a piece. And that was pretty good allowance money when I was a kid. And, the funny part about it is now the corporate offices of Competition Plus are in downtown Spartanburg here, which is the drag racing capital of the world. Not sure if you guys know that.
Yep, we've been reminded.
You're just shaking your head.
A lot of famous people come out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, reason why I call it, name another county that has 38 world championships won by its drivers.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I can't think of anybody. I don't even think Mooresville or outside Charlotte, Kannapolis, whatever. They
Nope.
don't add up to that many world championships.
Nope.
So,
World champions. In fact, one year, 1993, we had 5 of them in the IHRA: Scotty Cannon, Clay Hare, Scott Duggins, Jack Walker, Ray Head, and there's one more.
that was the year Ray won?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Now, did he have the 60 or did he have the 69 during that? I can't remember because he ran.
Yeah, the 6th. Well, I think the year he won the championship, he ran a Camaro that he bought from Howard Stanfield.
Gotcha. Okay, I know the one you're talking about now because I know he ran also that 60 Chevrolet VC automatic there for a while for years and I absolutely loved that thing. I just loved it.
I used to watch that thing at Spartanburg Dragway. The best car that I loved that he had was a 59 U, as in Uncle, stock automatic, and he ran that in 1979. That was the first year I started going to the drag strip.
Boy, the handicap start. Oh my goodness. That was just that would be phenomenal.
My gosh, guys, I had an old 79 Chevrolet Chevette, and this thing used to run 15 seconds in the 8th mile. And they hated when I came and raced this thing because I could leave on the second amber and get 00 lights. That's how slow that thing was to react.
Wait, but was that on a 5 amber tree? Oh, gosh.
I'd leave on the second. There was no delay boxing, and I just left on the second bulb. When I saw the second bulb, by the time the thing reacted, it was green.
That's like driving a new turbo diesel, you know? It's just like when you hit it, like it'll eventually move. Hey, that's cool. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Mr. Bobby Bennett. He is actually the face and the originator of Competition Plus magazine, the first digital magazine for drag racing. Started, I believe, in 1999, if I'm correct.
September of 1999, September 15th. We're coming up on, I believe it is 28 years. We'll be coming up on our 28th year.
So you're watching the man who started it all in the digital press that we're all doing. Like, for example, this podcast we're doing right now about racing. Bobby originated it with his literature, but it stemmed forward into many, many different avenues he's doing right now. So, Bobby, thank you very much for coming on. You're a hard man to catch because you are very busy, especially on days like today. Very, very busy.
And also, you're not just you don't just write, but you also have podcasts that you are on. So we kind of wanted to talk a little bit about those podcasts, some of the marketing partners that kind of help y'all along the way with those.
Yeah. Well, we got into the podcasting. Actually, we did some of the original podcasts with Joe Costello.
Right.
And we used to have Competition Plus Audio that we did. And then we launched in COVID time. We launched the Power Hour. And that's going on, that's 6 years that we've been doing the Power Hour. And now we have the Alan Reinhart Show, and we're pretty close to launching another podcast that will go on the opposite weekends of the Alan Reinhart Show. And who knows, I might even do my own podcast and just talk to my readers and everything like that, and throw stuff out there that I really don't give a rip if people like it.
There you go.
Guys, here's the big thing. Unless they're paying your mortgage, unless they're putting food on your table, you're going to have people that are haters.
Oh, always.
If they want to hate, hate your ass on wherever you want to hate at. But you're not going to change the way I do stuff. Right. And my old saying is, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Yep. You're never going to make everyone happy. It's impossible. And if you did, the world's going to come to an end really fast.
Did I write the truth? Yes. Did I sugarcoat? No, you were just pretty rough. I said, sometimes the truth is rough.
Right. I look at it completely in agreement with you, and I look at it this way. As long as a man or woman, whoever's speaking here, as long as they're straight and they're honest, I can't be mad over that. Might not like it, might hurt my feelings, whatever. But if it's true, it's true. You know,
You can't control what's inside the quote marks.
Exactly. Exactly.
You can't control. If somebody's determined to make themselves look like an ass hat, you just got to let them do it. There's nothing you can do to change it.
Yeah, that's true.
In this world, you cannot stop somebody hell bent on shooting themselves in the foot.
There you go. Miss June is joining us tonight.
Oh yeah, Miss Gerda, how you doing? We had her and Lex on, and there's some great people to talk to with a wonderful story. And I'm glad to see that you highlighted their story of them becoming American citizens.
Yes.
Okay, because we also highlighted it when we heard, they told us we were, so we acknowledged it. But you wrote a nice article about them becoming American citizens and everything that it means. So once again, Gerda and Lex, congratulations and welcome aboard.
And you'll never find two people that are more excited about drag racing than them two. I mean, they are electric. When you're around them, they are plumb out electric.
Yeah.
Actually, they gave me their best story. It was just me to try not to screw it up. I mean, they laid out such an incredible story. But and here's a tip: in doing this 40-something years, I can ask questions on the fly that basically outline my whole story. So when I get through, get my transcript back from the transcriptionist, I basically just knit together my whole interview into a story. It was already written from the time I turned the tape recorder off. It was written in my mind. It was just I had to take it from my mind and put it on the computer screen.
Right. That's actually, you're right. And that makes sense. Somebody with your experience, what I mean, you can see the article in your head, as you're talking, asking questions and getting answers, and you can see how that's going to lay out. And that makes sense. And
look,
getting there.
And the thing is about it is that the people that you interview, here's a key right here, that if you're ever on the other side of an interview here, if I'm asking you a question and I'm doing investigative reporting, I already know the answer before I ask it. Right. I'm just waiting to see if you're going to tell me the truth.
Yeah.
I already know the answer. You can sugarcoat it whatever way you want to, but I already 9 times out of 10 know the answer.
I agree. And like we were talking about earlier, some questions that we asked, we went right to particular people, direct.
Yeah.
And got a direct answer. So I was like going, okay. So then we could start with the conversation. But no, I can respect that. And I've had people come up to me and not in this field, but I mean in my job and stuff like that, and tell me ahead of time, like going, hey, I don't know this answer. Here's a question. You know what I mean? And ask in general. And then we can start the conversation. But yeah, somebody with your experience and stuff like that and connections and know-how, I can see that. Absolutely.
Look, I've got 4 children, 3 grandchildren, and soon to be 2 great-grandchildren. When Papa asks you a question, you better tell him the truth because he already knows the answer.
Right.
I like, yeah.
They catch on and they're smarter than what you think they are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had to tell one of my kids, you have zero potential of being a criminal. You have 0. You can't. If you do it, I'm going to catch you. Okay.
Yep.
And we do have some people in drag racing that follow that same pathway. They can't get away with crap because everybody knows it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. On that aspect of it, I agree with you. Some people, you can read them like a book. It's like going, you've proved yourself, and you know what I mean? You can't play poker, that's for sure.
If you only knew the stuff we didn't print.
Oh.
If you only knew, you'd be like, holy crap. And that's a lot to carry around with you, because sometimes you have to make you have to ask yourself, at what point does this do good for the sport?
Right.
For a story that's going to be forgotten in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or is this a bridge that I'm willing to burn? Well, let me tell you something. There's not a racer out there that sometime or another, may be very rare, that we haven't pulled their feet out of the fire. Stuff we could have reported that we didn't report. And people say, well, that's just being against journalistic integrity. Shut the front door. You know what? You guys, most everybody tries to look out for it. See, we're in a good position where we don't have to get clicks. We don't have to do clickbait. We don't have to do any of that to get traffic. We get good traffic. Some days are big, some days aren't. And that's just the nature of the beast. You got to take what the track gives you. Basically, journalism, drag racing journalism is the same as running a race car. Some days you have more horsepower than you know what to do with, and other days you can't hit your ass with both hands. Just some days that's like that. But you still need to swing the bat.
Sure. I tell you, in my experience writing up an article, about someone, it's always been pretty positive from the writer and Pro Stock or whoever's driving Top Fuel. Say, for instance, I'll write a piece on Josh Hart, and Josh will see me at the next race I'm at, and he walks over. He says, "That's a good article. That is exactly what's going on. You pay attention to the page. You pay attention to what we're doing," which they're working on a new chassis right now for probably coming up. I don't know if they'll have it fixed and completed by next weekend or not, but they're working on a new chassis for him or Angie Smith, and you see them like your stuff. It speaks volume, that they take the time and they read your stuff, and they appreciate you getting their name out there and let people know what is actually going on behind the scenes. And I think that's really important.
You know what, guys? You just got to have a desire to be able to want to make it. As Ricky Smith said to me one time, I refuse to lose. And let me tell you something. In 1987, a kid without a high school diploma became a writer for Superstock magazine and wrote articles for Superstock magazine. It was so bad that Stevie Collison told me, he said, "Don't quit your day job to do this yet, pal." and I was working a full-time job, raising 2 kids by myself. Mm-hmm. And I was writing during my break times and at night when I got off work.
Sounds like me.
Just to be able to make it. And then one day in 1999, I used to be I wouldn't say I was a professional softball player, but we were pretty doggone close to it. And I was playing for the company team, and I tore my Achilles tendon. And tore it so bad when I hit first base, and I had the guy burned so bad in right field, I had to crawl up double.
Oh.
Imagine you crawl and still beat the throw in. That's how bad I had him burned.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh. I was out for a whole year. I got to live as a journalist, doing nothing but writing articles. And this is in the days before the .coms really took off. And when it came time for me to go back to that job, I walked away from a job of 6 weeks paid vacation, straight first shift, 8 to 4 every day, 401k, and full insurance. Walked away from it to start an industry that didn't even exist.
Well, you've made it work from hard work and determination. But what is it that drew you to the digital media? Is it? I take it clearly that you saw a need. You saw I can't necessarily say an opening, which obviously you created one, but I think that you saw a need to get more information out. And you chose that? I mean, is that how it happened in a way?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, fellas. Can you see this? Does this show up?
Yep. Prove them wrong. Yep.
Let me tell you something. The abuse I took in the early years. People call me a dumb, stupid hillbilly redneck. He can't even put two sentences together. He won't amount to nothing. Oh, it's just the internet. Nobody cares about that. But you know what?
It's just a fad.
Yeah. First guy I tried to sell an ad to says, "Hey, you gonna sell me an ad to a crapper? How you gonna sell me an ad to a magazine I can't take to the crapper with me?" He said, "I don't think this internet thing's going to catch on." And see, the thing about the internet was it effectively shuffled the deck. And it allowed people like me who were not in the clique to be able to do this. And a guy named Dave Wallace, he gave me a chance. When I was terrible, he says, "Kid," he says, "you're awful." And I said, "Okay." Kind of like John Force when Bill Donor told him, says, "Your car, you need to just turn it over upside down and make a boat out of it because you can't race a funny car."
Right.
Well, I kept learning and learning and learning. And then I finally got sponsors and got people to come along. And the last word Stevie Collison told me before he died, when he told me, he said, "Don't quit your day job to do this yet, pal." He was so brutal on me.
Right.
That the last words he said to me, he says, "Kid, before it's all said and done, I'm going to end up working for you."
Well, he clearly saw your tenacity, your hard work, your determination, your drive. He clearly saw that.
Yep.
You learned a valuable lesson. The toes you step on today are connected to the ass you'll have to kiss tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, buddy.
But let me tell you something. These people laugh and they say, "Oh, he can't." You know what I did? I went and hired a riding coach. Somebody who worked in NASCAR. He was the biggest a-hole to everybody else. And he was an a-hole to me, and I was paying him. And I told him, I said, "I want you to make me a better rider. And I don't care. I want to be so mad at you every day that I want to fight you, fist fight you." Because that was never a problem for me. But I said, I want you to make me better. Right. And he went through and he ragged on me. He did all this and all that. But right before he died like half a year later. He told me, he said, "I could keep taking your money." He said, "But you don't need me." He said, "If I took your money, I'd be lying. You don't need me anymore." And at that point, and when my mentor says, "Oh, you got to be writing AI. Your stuff looks so perfect." And I'm like, I got good copy editors that catch my mistakes. They know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. I got you.
So that's our key is we got good copy editors. Do we use AI for some things? Yeah, for social media. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And copy editing. Why not? Why would you not use the tools of the trade that you have before you? And people say, "Oh, you have AI, right?" Read one of my stories. You think AI is capable of that?
Right. Because you have a distinguished style of your articles. Okay. Yeah. Whenever I've read them, and like I said, I've read them off and on since '99. You have a particular style. There
are people that out there like to say that kind of stuff, call me a lazy journalist and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, because everything that comes out of your camera is exactly what we see there, right? You don't do any touch-ups, any of that stuff. Yeah, you're a freaking hypocrite. That's what you are. You're an asshole and a hypocrite.
Yeah, that's true. And a liar.
It's one thing to be a hypocrite, but when you're an asshole hypocrite.
Yeah. One more thing, you'd be the hat trick, But hey, like I was saying, you've proved people wrong, okay? And you've proved people wrong with hard work, determination, and quality, okay? And that's something that Mitchell and myself and others can say is, your quality of what you put out. whether it's, like I said, the articles we've been talking a lot about, the podcasts, which have been more recent, but it's something that, like I was talking to you about, that I really enjoyed from way back was when you did the Storyteller series, okay, and you had everybody from Scotty Cannon, Ricky Smith, Ed McCullough, and others. I mean, people that forged the platforms to where we are today through drag racing. And are really, really good. I mean, honest answers behind the scenes, and you're asking honest questions. You know what I mean? I'm kidding when I say this. Hey, did you cheat at this race? Did you do that? You know what I mean? And to get your you doing that platform is really good and very much ahead of itself.
And I've always liked when they said when they go, well, it's not in the rule book that we can't do that, so therefore we're not cheating.
Right.
Right. Just like it was not in the rule book in the 1992-1993 season that you could run nitrous oxide in a pro stocker.
Right. And actually,
91.
Was it 91? And also, it was not in the rule book. I want to say it was either 88 or 90 that it didn't even say in the rule book that you were not allowed to have a delay box in a competition eliminator car, stock or super stock.
Wow.
Okay. And as I know somebody who was world champion and they had a delay box in their super stock car. And it was not listed in the rule book. And
it was legal.
It was legal. And I'm saying, I mean, I didn't blow up because I went back and read the book. And I was like, nope, it don't say it. So,
well, you know how NHRA got around that? They said it's an unapproved device.
Well, yeah.
Nowadays, if that and
nowadays,
and let me tell you something. There's some stuff going out in the nitro pits. Let me tell you something. People will talk about it all day long.
Yep.
I'm telling you, if you think last year's brouhaha was something, you don't want to see what's going on now, and you're like, okay, let me get my tape recorder out, and all of a sudden everybody gets lockjaw and they won't talk.
Oh yeah. Oh, I totally believe you on that. And but like you said, what I was referring to, like the delay box, it mysteriously went hush hush and then disappeared not too far later. It was never announced. It was never in print until the following year. Small print. No one ever made a deal of it, and that's happened a lot in sportsman racing over the years. People win Indy and Superstock, get tore down, find out they have the wrong engine in it. Next thing you know, there's a rule change, and the rule change is now encompassing what was done and all this kind of. But I'm like, it's like, I was like, how exactly is that working? You're predating your paycheck here,
Right.
so it's like going, but that's something that's happened in racing organizations, and that's something I wish all organizations would get better at. And I know that's where people like yourself try to bring things to people's attention is clarity. I believe all organizations, and I'm assuming you would agree with that, needs to be more clear, more forthright with information on all classes, whether it's professional or sportsman. But I don't know if they have the manpower to do such a thing.
Well, it's like the 2000, I believe it was 2007 when we lost Eric Medlin.
Yeah.
I believe it was, yeah. Well, the heat treated tubing, we went to war on that. We wrote a whole article, and I can tell you that the John Asher article that was written on that was researched. It was run through our legal department so many times that I ended up paying the lawyers more than I paid John Asher to write the article.
Really?
To make sure there was no way that anybody could come back at us and say, and at the end of the day, we had a airtight story. Just like with the nitromethane gouging of a couple of years earlier, the Harley Davidson stories, because we were unrelenting and we kept saying and doing what we had to do to get things changed for the better of the sport.
Well,
if you're gouging our racers, that's not going to stand. If you're racing with an unfair advantage, that's got to change. And if you're killing our best drivers or coming close to killing, we got to change something too.
I agree with that. Totally
yeah,
agree with that.
I was actually out there that day when that happened to Eric. Yeah, that was
That's sad. Yeah.
it was sad. When I seen Angel jump on the bike, go down there, because at that time she was a registered nurse. She rode down there, and when she came back, and I seen tears in her eyes, I knew the situation was really bad
at that moment. But there is things in time that by people like yourself and others has brought to attention and pushed to the forefront for people to be aware of, that it has helped to make some changes. And that's exactly what you're talking about. But there's more that's needed. And like I said, I feel all racing organizations need to have better communication with racers and with fans. Put it out there, whether it be rules, race schedules, other things like, especially rules. I'm a big fanatic about that. Have it in print, have it clear, have it easy to find, have it for everybody. But I wanted to get talking about something that you have a lot of videos, or at least some videos, I should say, and I really enjoy, is from your home track, Spartanburg.
Yeah.
Okay, when you started. Okay, and that is some good racing on those videos, and it makes me think back when I was younger. Some of the tracks I would go to, my father would race at, and it was very, very similar in layout and had that feel and that vibe. But also, you were there at the beginning of the Quick 8. You were there at the beginning of what is now like Pro Mod. Okay, and the race for 200, the race for the sixes, the Nitrous Wars. You were that deep in it from the get-go. But tell us how you progressed from Spartanburg, going out to Spartanburg and selling a publication at your home track, you know what I mean, up till the Quick 8. I don't think, was a Quick 8 at Spartanburg, was a Quick 8 at the other track?
No, at Spartanburg, that was just a track where everybody ran at, where we had Gene Fulton, Tommy Mooney, Blake Wiggins. We had Michael Martin. All the Pro Mod legends were old modified racers. Some of them raced Street Rod, which later became Top Sportsman. But the thing about Spartanburg Dragway is the way that I got into drag racing. If I hadn't gotten into drag racing, I probably would have been on a clear path for baseball. Major League Baseball is where I probably would have ended up at if I didn't end up in drag racing. And my great-grandson just came in here.
All right.
This is Scooter.
Oh,
Scooter is his own show. They waving at you.
Hey, Scooter. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. So
look at him.
Here's the scenario. I was 12 years old. I played baseball. I lived baseball. I wanted to play for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I lived about 3/4 of a mile uphill from the drag strip. So I'd hear the cars running every Saturday night. Well, I started paying attention more to those cars. And so I went skating with one of my buddies, and his grandmother says, "Look, I'm going to go to the house, but I'm going to stop by and let the gentleman, Mr. Johnson, he'll let you in here because you're 11. You can go in there and you can sit around and watch some racing, and I'll be back to get you." Well, I was hooked. I was hooked like a fish. Right. And so she came back and took me home, and the whole next day, all I could think about was the drag strip, watching the guy with the old Corvette pulling the wheels up in the air, shifting gears, and a guy with a Vega that was going so fast that the wind got inside and ripped the hatch off the back of the Vega. Yeah. Stuff like a Vega panel wagon that ran really, really fast called Las Vegas. And I thought, man, this place lights up like the fair. And I thought to myself, man, I'd love to come down here. So I went to my mom. I said, hey, because I was really close to my mom. And at the time, my mom was dying of cancer. So I said, Mom, hey, let's go down to the drag strip. Why don't you take me down there and we'll go watch it? Because I wasn't as close to my dad, because my dad worked all the time. He'd go into work at 6 a.m, get off at 10 o'clock at night every day. He had an 8th grade education. And so my mom said, no, I don't want you going down that. She said, no, I don't want to go down there. I said, well, can I ride my bicycle down there? She said, no, I don't want you down there. There's too much beer drinking and fighting that goes on down there. And I'm like, really? Oh, I never saw any of that. And then I went to my dad. I said, hey, Dad, played the angle like, hey, it's could be a good father-son bonding time. And my dad said, you know what can be good bonding time? Us out here cutting the grass. He said, how much it costs to get in? I said, $5. He said, that's too much money. This is 1979. Mm-hmm. So when Dad went off to work, Mom went off to church or did whatever she did, I'd get on my bike. I got on my bike Monday, rode down there, see how long it'd take me to get down there, and I rode back, see how long it'd take me to get back. I did that Tuesday, down and back, Wednesday, down and back, Thursday, down and back, and even Friday. So when it got to be like 12 o'clock, and I heard the first cars making its runs. In fact, it was a modified eliminator test session down there for Fulton competition. I heard those cars. I told my mom I was going over to my friend's house and got on my bike, and I rode right straight to the drag strip. I had turned 12. Well, it was 11 and under, got in free. So I went to the man at the gate and I told him, I said, look, I said, I want to come in. He said, well, that'd be $5. I said, I thought 11 and under got in free. He said, they do. I said, well, I'm 11. He said, well, I guess you get in free. So I rode my bike down, sat on the bench and watched the cars run. And at that time, they charged for a pit pass, but nobody was charging. So I walked over, saw the cars, went back and sat down. Well, I didn't realize I was only supposed to stay there an hour or an hour and a half.
It went by really quick.
3 hours. And my dad, my mom got to missing me. She said, hey, Bobby's not over at Steven's house. Go down, go find him. First place he went to the drag strip. And he went to the man, Paul Johnson, at the gate. And he said, have you seen a boy on a bicycle come down here? He said, yeah, I just let him in here. He says, he gave you $5? He said, no, he said he was 11. That boy's 12. He'll be right back up here. And he made me go up there. I was just like in tears and tell him how old I was. And at the same time, he reached in his wallet to pull out $5 to give it to Mr. Johnson. Here, go over there with Grandma. And I said, oh, I get to stay. He said, no, you going home. So he said, let the boy, Mr. Johnson said, let the boy stay. He said, nope, he's not going to make it through life cheating and stealing from people and expect to make it in this world. That's not the way I'm raising him. So he made me ride that 3/4 of a mile uphill going home, past me. Didn't even stop. Didn't even look at me. Didn't wave, nothing. He was so disgusted. You'd have thought I robbed a bank. Well, and, he did talk to me the rest of the day. My dad didn't. He was so disappointed in me that I had done what he felt was lied, cheated, and stole.
Right.
And that night, I was sitting there watching TV in the den. He says, you want to come say your prayers? Because we always said our prayers every night, said the Lord's Prayer. And as I was getting up to walk away, I didn't even try to talk to him. He says, you just willing to lie, cheat, and steal to go in that place? I said, Dad, I didn't want to lie, didn't want to cheat, and I certainly didn't want to steal from anybody. But nobody would give me a chance. So I created my own chance. And my dad looked at me and says, well, I can't argue with that. So here's what's going to happen. Next week, Mr. Johnson said, you can come help his crew on Monday, pick up trash, and he'll let you in free. I never been so glad to pick up trash in my life. I helped them clean up the drag strip on Mondays, and I did so good. Mr. Johnson not only let me in free, but he gave me $5 for the job. And and then I started running around the drag strip, and then I got a job running sheets back and forth from the staging lanes to the tower. So all of a sudden, I was making $10 a week, and then I started my magazine. It was called Stars and Cars, and I probably made about another $25 doing that, a week. So now I've gone from just getting in free to making $35 a week, at the drag strip. And then, I would hang out in the tower, and they didn't have anybody to announce qualifying or time trials. So they gave me a job announcing and gave me another $25.
Whoa.
So now I'm making about $60-$70, and I'm only like 13 years old a week.
That's good money back then.
And then the primary announcer, he got fired. And so they paid me, they upped my pay to $125 a week.
Wow.
And I was making probably close to $165 a week by the time before I was 14 years old at the drag strip doing a magazine. And the whole reason the magazine started is because I had subscriptions to all the major magazines, but they would never write about my local guys. Mm-hmm. So I did it writing about the local guys. And that's how my magazine started. So when I tell people I've been doing this for 46 years, 47 years, that's not an exaggeration. I've been doing it and getting paid for it.
Well, and you also got a lot of appreciation for the racers that race there as well.
Oh, I was
they were honored that you were writing about them.
No, they couldn't stand me. I was a pain in the ass. Ask Gene Fulton. I was a pain in the rear end. But I was okay.
Yeah, well, they didn't get rid of you, so you must have been okay. But I mean, you were Scoop Johnson, I'm sure, trying to get everything in there and pick. But you stayed busy enough; it had to keep you out of trouble by staying that busy. I was trying to help you. I was trying to help you.
No, that was a different time in my life. And I just got to you can lose a lot of things in life, but when you lose your mother, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And I was 13 years old. My mom was my life. She's the one that taught me how to play baseball. And to lose her led me down some paths I shouldn't have had went down. And it took me till I was an adult to get past all of that crap that I should have never got into in the first place. Gotcha. Just stuff that'll go to the grave with me that nobody knows. Mm-hmm. And, you see these people walking around, they got smiles at the racetrack, but you don't have a clue what's going on in their life.
True.
I agree.
Don't have a clue sometimes that place out there at the racetrack is the only happiness they can get in life. It's out there. And when you go messing with that, you mess with sometimes the only part of people that they may have that doesn't make them want to quit on life.
You're right. You're right. And there's a lot of wisdom there. And you and I got a lot in common. I'll share with you later. We do. So I'm glad. We're both glad, and everybody's glad that you're doing better, that you're doing much better. But the circumstances you went through built you as a person, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, built you. Okay. And that lesson your father gave you that first time at the drag strip helped build the foundation of where you are today. And so tip our hats to all the parents out there that make that work hard and love their kids and do their best to raise them as best they can. And like I said, at the moment it didn't seem the nicest, I know, but as time progressed, you got it, and it, like I said, it helped you grow. I mean, look at it, for goodness sakes. I mean, at 14 years old, you're making just a little under $200, and that's from hard work and, like you said, creating opportunities. But your father forcing you to create some of the opportunities. So it's right. I mean, right. It's right. Exactly what happened. So you're now progressing to where you're getting ready to take over Spartanburg. Okay, you're now the mayor of Spartanburg Dragway. Well, you know what I mean. Now, come on.
I'm just the mayor of Claremont Circle, not Spartanburg. One of my old football teammates is the mayor of Spartanburg.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I was referring to the drag strip. Okay, but Claremont, okay, the drag strip. But where did things even start to progress there on your media side and your writing and stuff, and even Spartanburg? Where did it progress up to? Like I said, the Quick 8 is where I really, really, really am intrigued. Where that whole era came in. So please continue. You were telling us.
Well, all of my friends, a lot of my older mentors got to watch the funny cars come along, got to watch Pro Stock develop and Super Stock. And for me, the Pro Mods were my funny cars, Pro Stock, and Super Stocks all in one. Mm-hmm. That was my professional category that I watched start from nothing. The story that I could tell to younger journalists coming in, like they had talked to me about the funny cars. And it was just it was an incredible thing to watch. You had a bunch of guys that had no idea how to be a professional racer. They were nothing more than fast bracket racers coming out of modified eliminator, and they learned. And all of a sudden, you had people that came into the mix. Excuse me, guys.
You're good.
You're good.
Yeah. So. Sorry, I've always got breaking news happening here, so I have to look at what I have to.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
So it's like these guys learned, and then you started getting people like Mike Ashley in there, mm-hmm. and he brought that brash New York City attitude, Long Island, and then you had the guys from the Midwest like Coolman and Animal Jim that brought their own kind of UDRA flavor to the thing, along with the Carolina boys. And then you had this guy, Mike Thermos, out there in California, would tell all the guys in the Midwest and New York, you guys don't want to go messing with them hillbillies. They're pretty tough down there when it comes to racing. Mm-hmm. And, of course, then you had Walter Henry, who came along, a Vietnam veteran who flew helicopters and was shot down multiple times in Vietnam, but had no fear behind the wheel of a car. And he ran a supercharger down the Carolinas, and that went over about as good as a fart in church. It did not. They did not like him. And it was like Scotty Cannon that stood up for him and says, hey, let this guy race. We all wanted to race. Let him race. So he did that. And then Jim Oddie came in, and he and Fred Hahn. Mm-hmm. Well, when the Black Mariah ran a 669. Yep. And it was literally a funny car with doors.
Yes.
When they created Pro Modified, it was everything that car wasn't. Yeah. Basically, whatever's on that car will not be in a blown car. That's why you only had one blower car qualify at the very first Pro Mod race in 1990 in Darlington, South Carolina. I think it was March 6th, 1990. And it was a gentleman named Stanley Barker that qualified. He's out of Alabama. Ran a Monte Carlo Aero Coupe, Super Coupe, with a blower on it, called the Super Toy.
Yep, had a big bow tie on the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what people don't realize is that car was built by a guy, a paraplegic. The car was built by a guy in a wheelchair. Wow. And he was a drag racer who got injured in he was an electrician and got electrocuted, and that's how he lost. He was unable to walk anymore after that. and he stayed in drag racing, and that was his legacy, building the first pro modified blown car to ever qualify.
Huh. I did not know that. Now, question: Walter Henry, he had was it the Denver Fever, the green Corvette?
The Denver Fever car, yeah, that
okay.
car. Oh boy, the second one was much better. The Jerry Bickle car, the one that he lost his life in.
The
first one, I wouldn't have got out of the electric chair to drive, sit in that thing.
Little backstory that, and when they had the Chevelle, I think they had a green '66 Chevelle also.
Yeah.
The first time, and I'll explain to you later the time period with relating to what you said earlier. But in 1980, my father and I were in the back roads of Carolina, there for a different reason, outside of Charlotte, and we happened to go down the road that Mooresville Dragway's on. We were going one night, had a sign hanging like this, and we looked down this long, dark road, and there was light on the end, and it said drag strip. So that's always what we enjoyed. Let's go down there. Went to Mooresville Dragway, unsanctioned. Okay, you threw the money in a garbage can when you came through the gate at the time. Okay, and you've been to Mooresville, so you know how the track was how the pits on the left-hand side were lower than the track itself. So over there, in an 18-wheeler in 1980, was Denver Fever. Okay, and it had been there so long, the grass had grown up around it. They didn't even trim around it; they just mowed around it. That's how much he raced at that track. Okay, and pulled that thing out. Did burnout? That's the first time I've ever seen a rosin burnout or traction. You know, with the everybody does them in the dish soap bottles. You know. Spin up the rosin, got the spider webs going everywhere, and make a rip down in there. And that sucker was from lane to lane to lane to lane, and got it down there. And it was just bloody quick at the time in the fours or something like that. And that's the first time I ever seen anything like that.
I have to imagine Walter drove that car like he flew that helicopter in Vietnam.
My dad took me away from the side of the track, because he had been around stick cars his whole life and seen modified cars and clutches coming apart, and we've been around all that stuff. And he said, nope. He put me behind a truck when that car and a couple other cars came through there. But that was a coincidence, being able to see that car during the infancy, during the beginning of that era.
Who drove the Carolina Hooker?
That was Ken Regenthal.
Okay.
That was a 63 or 66.
63 Corvette with the injector stacks on it.
Yeah. That thing was pretty too. It really, really was. Even the modern versions.
Like a canary yellow and red, right?
Well, the first one's blue.
More like a fluorescent yellow and red. Yeah. They, I think that's one of my most stolen photos that I ever took. I took a Ken Regenthal's cars. I see them everywhere, and I'm like, I don't even ask for photo credit. But yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but I was a photographer long before I was a writer.
Well, I can see that. Because, like I said, all your articles have a lot of excellent photography and a lot of to go with it. And I know you have a large staff. How many people do you have working on staff now? I mean, because when you go online and look, you have a lot of contributing people, but man, how many people?
We have nine people that are regular contributors to the magazine. We have there's three of us that work in the office here in downtown Spartanburg. There's myself, my daughter Emily, who's the managing and business editor of the magazine, and we have Jennifer Whitmire, who's our manager for the Competition Plus store, where we sell probably about 60 orders a week out of this office. Shipping
T-shirts. Had a sale, I think, for your store just this past week. Yep. I've seen a lot of that getting passed around on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Well, I tell you now, like I said, you've seen the beginning of the Pro Mod era, the Top Sportsman turning into Pro Mod, and everything all the way up to modern versions of Pro Mod and stuff.
No, scooter. Yeah. Okay. Take it in there.
I thought I said something wrong and I got bleeped.
Wait till he starts hitting the button with that cat or whatever the hell that thing is. I think it's a deer or something.
Oh,
He'll get that one. He'll hit it about 15 times.
Well, hey, that's cool. Scooter's all right. Scooter's good.
So looking at Pro Mod from the beginning to where it is now, what do you think about the class? You know, it is, the cars are a lot faster. You got the same mentality of the drivers. They all got grit. One of my favorite Pro Mod drivers is Lyle Barnett, because one thing about all the things that he went through after his crash at South Georgia, him promoting people to use their PPE while driving, that it is important. I give kudos to Lyle, because there is no telling how many people's lives that he has saved from either burning up or losing their lives, for telling them, hey, don't play around with this. Make sure you got your gloves. Make sure you got the right the jacket on, and wear your helmet and put your shield down. That makes him one of my favorite, of him overcoming adversity of that crash and to where he is right now. And now he's going to be racing an alternate here pretty soon. So
he'll race a wheelbarrow if it's got a steering wheel.
Yeah, I interviewed him one time at Charlotte, and so I opened up the interview and I says, you know what, this gentleman right here could take a wheelbarrow to Victory Circle if it had an engine in it. And he about busted up laughing right then and there during their interview.
The Pro Mod of today is advanced, and it's a lot closer to what NHRA Pro Stock is by the vein of competitiveness.
Right.
The old Pro Modified, having that kind of competitive nature was something that the class dreamed of. A lot of that comes from the automatic transmissions being legalized into the class and all that. I'm not going to say it made it easier to drive. It just made it very competitive. The clutch cars were a whole different monster, because you didn't know which way it was going to go when it left. And now it's a totally different. And look, some people in drag racing, they get their jollies knocking other people down, whether they like eighth mile or quarter mile, just because it does not fit their mold of what drag racing is. Let me tell you something. When I was 12 years old, I learned to appreciate all drag racing. Whether you can't tell me that the guy that runs a super gas car is not as passionate about his race car as the guy running the super stock or the stock or the factory stock showdown, or the guy today running the Pro Mod is not as much enthusiastic and driven as the guy back in the day that used to run a clutch car. So therefore, I don't take away from any of them. I don't take away if they're IHRA, NHRA, whatever. There's a place for everybody in drag racing. And like when the late Jim Tice was running the American Hot Rod Association, it's like, we got a class for every car.
Yeah.
You got an old van, Volkswagen van, we got a place for it.
We'll get you in where you fit in.
Formula 7, slow hot rod.
Was that the catch-all Formula 7? Because they had Hot Rod 2, Hot Rod 1.
Formula 3 hot rod, whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They had a catch-all. I never thought about that, but I just remember seeing the Hot Rod 1 and 2 and 3, and I couldn't keep up with it. I was like going, but that's a good explanation, Bobby. Basically we got a class 4. Now, what do you feel about the state of drag racing now? As far as, you've seen the changes and the progression of stuff like that. How do you feel now? Do you feel that, and I'm talking about in general, do you feel like it's good and solid, or do you feel that it's topped out? Or I always feel there's room to grow. But
a drag racing fan has never had it so good as they have it now. In the 1970s, you'd go try to find any picture of drag racing. You'd maybe get to watch drag racing on TV 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Now drag racing's at the click of a mouse. Everywhere. Drag racing fans have never had it so good. You get your results almost instantaneously. You can watch the cars go down the drag strip and watch the incremental timers. You used to have to wait 2 weeks to get the results for the races.
Right.
You know? So you're going to tell me it's terrible because the show started late? How about you used to go look in National Dragster to see a month from now when it was coming on your local TV and you only got 1 hour of it?
I remember those days.
I do too.
It runs so late that you read it in National Dragster before it comes on TV.
Yeah,
so
you're
give
right.
me a break with this. Drag racing fans are so spoiled that they don't know how good they have it now.
I agree.
Well,
I mean, everything's at the touch of their fingertips. You can find out anything. If you can't watch it, you can go on NHRA's website and you can pull up live timing.
I just never understood these people. You know, just because you live in the land of the free and the home of the brave and you have a right to freedom of speech doesn't mean you really should open your mouth. Okay?
Yeah.
That's why I jump in there with my guys in the social media and mix it up in there. Because just because you have a voice doesn't mean you should use it.
Right.
Especially, you know, we can spend 4 or 5 hours working on a story. And then somebody comes along and says, what happened, without even reading the article. No, go somewhere else and post. Okay?
Yep.
And, you know, it's just stuff like that that just really irritates the hell out of me with today's drag racing fan.
I get it on my page too.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
I just overlook it.
I'm over it. I'm over it. Oh, you don't like it here? Well, you know what? Nobody's forcing you to stay here.
Yeah.
But if you want to come in here, I have simple rules. Don't act stupid. At least try to read an article before you spout off about what you don't know, and no profanity.
Right. Well, we've been pretty lucky. Like, you know, I wrote about Angel 2 years ago. She failed field check in the top alcohol dragster. And so I wrote up a thing that, you know, she got disqualified, blah, 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 blah. And well, I started getting a lot of hate for mentioning it. Angel jumped on there and said, he is correct. This is what happens. That happens to us a lot. You know, sometimes we roll up, we put the chillers and ice or whatever to try to keep the fuel cold. And we try to anticipate by the time we get up there that the temperature of the fuel is going to be where it's supposed to be. That's the name of the game. So she came to my rescue and set him straight. He's not lying. He's telling the truth.
She's a good girl. I
Yep,
love her
she
to
is.
death. She's a good girl.
People
But
don't
guys, I'm going to have to run. I got home calling me. And I got to go get some sleep before I'm back in the office at 2 a.m. working on my next big story.
Roger that. Hey, but before you go, how can it tell us how everybody can follow you and all your platforms?
You think there's somebody that don't know how to follow me yet?
I know. Hey, I'm trying to help you, John.
All right. So on Facebook, it's Bobby Bennett. Of course, it's Competition Plus. On Twitter, it's at competitionplus.com or at Competition Plus. Just follow us there. You get a jump over on our social media, and if you can act like you got pretty decent smarts, you're welcome there. But don't come in acting stupid.
Should be painful, right? It should be.
And no profanity.
And no profanity. Agreed. Well, listen, Bobby, we'll let you get going, buddy. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and we'll look forward to talking to you again this year and shaking your hand.
Hey,
all right.
Are you going to be at U.S. Nationals?
Absolutely.
It's like
all right, we'll see you there.
Silly question. All right, Bobby. He just said the rules, Mitchell. Okay.
Gee, you're a major media outlet. Will you be at the World Series this year? Nah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you know,
It's
last
a flash
year,
in the pan.
last year we did not. I sent in to be invited.
Just stop. You've already just stop. Okay.
Just let it go.
Don't go any further. Shut the car off. Park it. Let your crew take it back to the pits and fix it.
We'll let it go at there.
Well, it just get worse.
All right, Bobby. Listen, my
All
friend,
right.
you have a good night and hope you and your family have all the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Take care.
Take care, Bobby.
Bye-bye.
See you. I like him. I so like Bobby. He tells it like it is and no nonsense. And but I tell you, everybody, honestly, if you haven't heard of Competition Plus, you're really, really missing out. So we encourage everybody to follow Competition Plus on all the media platforms. They really, really, really do in-depth articles, really good. And like I said, straight shooting, honest. They back up what they're doing, so it's a good, reliable source. So like I said, and their podcasts are really good. So we encourage everybody to go over there and also buy some swag. They got shirts and everything like that. Go over there and support the channels. So, but we appreciate them. That man's got the middle of the candle burning, not only both ends, but the middle. He's got everything in the world going. But,
well, everybody's sitting around, including us, waiting for, there's a lot of rumors going on about the IHRA. And so we're all trying to keep tabs on what's going on, what's going to happen. Are they going to make an announcement? So it's got everybody up on edge, and I'm going to set my phone tonight. If it happens in the middle of the night, my phone's going to go off, and so I can put it out there. And Bobby's going to do the same thing, But
Yeah.
it was we want IHRA sanctioned body to work. We want another place for people to go and race, to keep the spirit of drag
Agreed.
racing alive across the country. So hopefully it's not. Hopefully we don't hear bad news. Hopefully it's good and good intent. But we'll find out, and as soon as we know, we'll get it posted.
Exactly. When we find out good, solid information, we'll pass it along. Okay, we'll let the chips fall where they may. But the bottom line is, whatever track is near you, no matter what it is, circle track, drag strip, tractor pulling, roundy round, whatever, support your local track. It's like we have a new track that opened around Callahan Dragway. Okay, that recently just opened. And put it this way, they had a grand opening. They have no clocks yet. They should be coming in the next couple weeks because the man's paying for everything out of his pocket. Okay, so basically flashlights start going to the first 330 feet. And it was packed, absolutely packed full of people and cars racing. And they're doing it again. Okay, and this is just so they can work on getting the lights, the Christmas tree in and everything like that. So,
And it's helping to get some rubber into the concrete surface because it goes to concrete and has a transition to asphalt. So a lot of that's to help that process happen. And I'll tell you what, I went down the track and it is smooth as glass. So, I mean, no bumps. I mean, just nice and smooth. And, it's going to be a diamond in the rough. I think that's the way it's going to turn out. And, and Mr. Hicken, he's put a lot of time into this, a lot of meetings with the city council. And I know a lot of people were upset that, you got to have mufflers on your car. But, majority of the cars that race, even in pro, have mufflers. The only class that I could think of that really suffers from that is probably Super Pro or electronic class, whatever you want to call it. But we even have one of those cars out there last weekend, and it was amazing. So they got their collectors coming out their fenders. They put one chamber flow masters on them and screw them in to the collectors.
the collector, right?
So they're able to run their car down the track.
Right. And see, everybody just has to understand this was one of the stipulations the city required for him to open the track. So it's like it wasn't his choice. So everybody just honor it, respect it, and support the track. Put some mufflers on it. Whatever you got, just put some mufflers on it and go. It's like I plan on going. I just couldn't get away or I was going to be there.
Well, the thing is, Robert, we don't know what's going to happen in the future for that track. The city council members, they might see a benefit of the track being there, money coming in to the city of Callahan, and they may say, "Hey, we changed our mind. We're going to allow you to have some special events. We're going to let you run, 2 or 3 events a year with no mufflers. We're going to see how this goes." I mean, those are possibilities that can happen that can change everything around where they can run cars without mufflers and get to be able to run super pro cars. But, you got to be patient. You got to let things fall in place. And Robert, like you said, no tree, no boards up. People were out there having a great time. And it was only to 330 feet. We just heard Bobby talk. People complain, quarter mile, eighth mile. They were running 330 feet, and people still came out to run 330 feet. They held 3 gamblers races, street style, which I thought was pretty daggum cool. Mm-hmm. So 2 competitors would go up. They're racing for $100. Okay. So the winner gets $100. He has to get it from the other guy. Now, if the other guy thinks that the other guy jumped, they have video motion cameras out there that were in slow time, and they would show when the car started leaving, if it left before the light came on, the flashlight came on.
Had a tire crack cam.
But he would have to pay $100 to challenge it.
Oh.
And if he lost this challenge,
the other guy got
the other guy got that $100. Wait, no, I think the $100 went to the track and it goes to a charity. I think that's what they were, what they planning on doing. So it was something that added a little bit of flavor, a little bit of competition for people to do. And man, I tell you what, the cars, they were coming back around. They were lining up in a staging area to run off each of those cars for a chance to win $100 each round. And I tell you what, if you went the whole night and you won the event, you took home a pretty good pocket of cash.
That's actually cool. I didn't hear that explanation that way. That's actually interesting. Okay, yep. So it kind of brings a heads up street style to it, if you want to go that way.
Exactly. It's kind of set up just like Street Outlaws, with the cameras and everything to catch the motion, catch them at the end of the traps, who got there first. So it's a really neat ordeal. And the company, I didn't get the company's name that's doing it, but they go all over the place and they do this for tracks. And right now you consider the track as no prep. That's the way I look at it. You can bring your own prep. You can prep your tires and do a burnout in it. If you wanted to pour it down on the concrete, they were allowing that. But it was getting the energy level up. And how many in one of the videos, how many hits did it have?
Oh, over
85,000.
Yeah,
over 85,000. That goes to show you how excited people are for this new track coming along to Callahan. It's been years since people's been able to race out at Jack's Raceway, and I think this is the way to try to get people back off the couch where they don't have to drive all the way up to Valdosta from Jacksonville or down to Gainesville. They're going to be able to have a track closer to them in their back door. And I guarantee you, after everything gets going, they are going to coordinate with the other tracks in the area to probably be able to not have to compete with one of them on the same day. So if you raced at Gainesville, you could race there, and the next weekend you can race in Callahan. So I'm really excited about it.
Agreed. And it's like, I can't wait to go out there. Like I said, I wasn't able to go out there the last time due to my schedule. And I'm glad you were able to go out there and cover it a little bit, do some interviews, take some videos. Now, Mitchell and I do have some upcoming plans for Callahan, but we'll kind of keep that to ourselves right now. But we got some plans coming in, and hopefully, if things work out, we'll be able to showcase the track a little bit more for everybody to enjoy. And like I said, it's we've been very, very busy with a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. Here recently, we're working on lining up other people to come on the podcast. Mitchell's working on a lot of articles. I'm talking to a lot of different companies about different things, and we got a lot of things working in the background. We're working on T-shirts. So, for example, we're working on the logos and stuff. We recently changed the logo, but we're also working on that for T-shirts and stuff like that. So, also, if anybody's listening to this and is interested in a T-shirt, just let us know. We're going to put out examples first to see what everybody thinks.
Yeah, kind of get a filler of what we need to get ordered. And so, we don't want to go in debt on T-shirts, per se.
True.
But, we're also working with a good person that's a marketing partner with us on the Spot Motorsports Media, and that's GRE Signs. So he's going to get the work to do the T-shirts for us. And I tell you what, Tim Goolsby does great work over there. And, and we're going to have probably Tim and Rob Reynolds on our podcast at some time as we get closer, because they have some big money bracket races coming up at Gainesville.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. And as far as I know right now on the Spot Motorsports Media, we'll be live streaming those. And hopefully by then we'll have 3 cameras set up. So we'll have one down track, we'll have one on the start line, and hopefully one right there at the finish line. So we're working on that. That's going to be a great view for everybody to see. But again, please continue following us on the Spot Motorsports Media on Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to jump over to our Instagram page as well. Listen to us on Spotify. Robert, he does a lot of work in the background of getting our videos and stuff uploaded to Spotify. So I want to thank Robert for all of his hard work and what he contributes to our page. But I tell you, some really great things. And of course, right now, the big news is what's going on with the IHRA.
Yeah, and we're going to kind of keep our powder dry as far as we're privy to a little bit of information and stuff like that, but we're not until it's announced or anything is announced, and we're just not going to really say anything. But we want the best for any and all the racing organizations. We want places for people to be able to go race, to enjoy themselves. We know a lot of people that compete in that series. And other series, but definitely in that series. So we want the best for it. We really, really do. So we'll just have to wait and see. But also, Mitchell, I wanted to do a plug. Our buddy James Thompson over at Drag Talk Weekly, they're doing, I don't know if they're doing their podcast tonight or if they do it on Tuesday, but him and Marco do a fantastic job, by the way. But he started Shark Bite Performance Parts, LLC. So he sells racing fuels, but he also does online selling racing parts. Okay, so he is a racer. He's an announcer. He's a great guy. So everybody needs to go over there and follow them and to reach out to him if you need any parts. He deals with a lot of good companies. But go to Shark Bite Performance Parts, Shark Bite Performance Parts, LLC. And you'll get a hold of James Thompson. And they got a lot going on right now, including some raffles. And so, like I said, you need to go over there and support them. And also, they do Drag Talk Weekly. Okay, so they do a great podcast, him and Marco talk, and we've had them on here before, and there's great people that operate Leadfoot City, manager of the Marco is, and so they got a lot going on, but they have a really good podcast also, and other things that they do. We encourage you to go over there also. If you currently don't follow them also, we encourage you to follow them. And, because like I said, they're good guys, and we go back and forth. But like I said, we also want to thank the people that work with On the Spot Motorsports Media. We couldn't do this without you. And first we want to mention Redline Synthetic. Mitchell and I got Redline in both of our vehicles. We've been running them for years. We've been very, very happy with them. And they work with racers of all different genres, whether it be circle track, drag racing, land speed, you name it. snowmobiles, they got something for you. So we encourage everybody to go check out Redline Synthetic.
Also, don't forget Scorpion Racing Products, located in Ocala, Florida. If you need something for your valve train, hey, they probably have it. And I tell you what, Zach Collins and them, they're great people. And of course, they're also racers. And, we kind of say that a lot, like a broken record, but it is absolutely the truth. And we enjoy having them on board with us.
And also, big stuff, Total Power Management. I tell you, for any of your fuel injection needs, you need to look up Big Stuff, because they have everything that can handle everything from OEM to standalone systems to one-off systems. One cylinder, 12, 18 cylinders, it doesn't matter. They got you covered. They have the best American-made equipment going. Plus, they have some fantastic digital monitors, digital screens that they have that can handle all the different data logger and fuel injection systems all on one screen. And they got some really cool options with the weather stations built into it. So we encourage everybody to go to Big Stuff Total Power Management.
Again, GRE Signs, located in Newberry, Florida. I tell you what, if you need your car wrapped, you need T-shirts made, hats, you name it. Tim Goolsby at GRE Performance, GRE Signs. They're kind of performing because they knock out a lot of stuff. But GRE Signs, give them a call for your needs.
And also, we want to include Larice Motorsports Insurance, who came on with us this year. I tell you, Larice can handle all your insurance needs for your race car, your trailer, the contents of your trailer, whether it be drag racing or circle track. They are racers for racers. So there's been several situations this year where people have had an unfortunate incident happen and been covered by Larice, and they've stepped up quickly to help them get through their time of need. So we appreciate Larice Motorsports Insurance.
And also, right now, I'm trying to reach out to Sadie Glenn, see if we can try to get her on next week. And then on July the 21st, we are going to have Maddie Gordon. She just came off for winning her first Top Fuel event in her rookie year. And I tell you what, she is great for the sport, very energetic. And someone's seen her the other day, I think in another podcast, and their comment was, "Did you go to the John Force Racing School of Interviews?" Because she is that energetic.
Yes.
And so we cannot wait to have her on and talk about her moving from the Top Alcohol Funny Car and now driving for Ron Capps.
Yeah, it's definitely
Carlisle Tools Top Fuel Dragster.
It's definitely going to be interesting, because not only is she full of energy, she's extremely talented, and not only driving Top Fuel, but coming from an alcohol funny car and other things. But an alcohol funny car, which I consider one of the most difficult things to drive, and doing it very, very well. Okay, and then coming into a Top Fuel car. So it'd be really, really cool and interesting to hear the comparisons, the differences of going from letting a clutch out, shifting, going from side to side with an alcohol car to a Top Fuel car that has tremendously more power, but now everything's behind you, and the driving technique that goes with it. So really looking forward to that. So we appreciate her taking the time out of her busy schedule, just like tonight's guest, Bobby Bennett, taking time out of his busy schedule to come talk to us. We greatly appreciate it.
And I'm assuming Maddie is a really good welder, because she put a reel out the other day of her welding some stuff up. And I tell you what, it looked really good. So,
and she also put a reel out working on her father's alcohol car. They pulled the engine out, so it showed them different time lapsing, disassembling the top half, get the cherry picker in there, pull it. And it was just her and her father.
Yep, and she doesn't mind getting her hands dirty.
Oh,
that's
no.
for sure.
She's very, very much a hands-on person, and so like I said, we look forward to that. We have some other people we're in the works trying to get, and hopefully it'll work out. But I tell you, we got a lot going on, but also like next month, planning on going to the Tri-Fi Nationals in Bowling Green, Kentucky, doing some coverage there, and then going back to the Division III Lucas Oil final points race for NHRA and the NHRA Sports Nationals at Bowling Green, Kentucky. And then the U.S. Nationals the next week.
Yes.
So we're going to be very, very busy with different things, but we're looking forward to it, to be able to bring coverage for people. And like I said, just to kind of get a feel of different races, different racers, different organizations and stuff like that. So you really bring the exciting racing to you.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. So, everyone, we hope that you have a safe weekend. And again, if you're near a track, go fill the seats.
Absolutely. Support your local track, ladies and gentlemen. And from Mitchell and I here at On the Spots Motorsports Media, until next time, wish everybody a good night.